you know we're starting our videos off in the truck, you know we must be putting a wiggle in it, trying to get somewhere. It's about 5:30 in the morning. Been up all night. The last couple of weeks pretty much been staying up all night and trying to sleep when we can during the day. Work in and out of our maintenance and all the systems. So I'm tired, but not like super tired, like 12 ninja monkeys beat on me with a stick and throwing stars. But I wouldn't mind taking a little nap in that ditch laying right there. I wouldn't mind laying in that ditch for about 3 minutes and taking a nap. This is a property that we've done a bunch of videos on. Our farmer has been trying to get this last field planted in peanuts. It's a huge field, several hundred acres. Certain parts of it's corn. He's already got some of it planted in peanuts. There's this last section that hasn't quite gotten planted in peanuts yet. Should be today or tomorrow, should be, weather providing. Basically, long story short, we ended up with 2 groups that we were trying to trap, never could get it to work. So we went ahead and flipped the switch, took out 11. Then we took out a single boar, and we've done some progressive, proactive measures to kind of push the hogs towards the trap. Then we brought in a chief trap because we kind of think we really need to have 2 traps on this field that's so big. So a couple of days ago, came up here, put a chief trap up. Been watching the chief trap, the regular 12-panel Jaeger Pro trap, and had a single come in tonight. Now, we watched it for a good bit, and it was just one hog. So we went ahead and took it. Normally we wouldn't do that. Normally we would let it ride. But he's getting ready to plant. And I can promise you that if you've ever stood or sat and watched a single boar go down a peanut row, it's pretty impressive what they can do, one hog. So normally we would let that hog just eat out of the trap, have a big time, watch him for several weeks, whatever, but we don't have that kind of time. So I went ahead and flipped the switch on him. So basically, I'm coming up to the field now. I'm gonna pull off. We're gonna ease down through there with a thermal on the peanuts that have already been planted. And then once we drop down in kind of a bottom, that's where we'll have a better opportunity to really do some thermal work, because it's right next to the woods. And then we got to slip into the trap and take this guy out. Nothing outside the gate. Everything's been clean. It's about a 50-mile drive. So we flipped the switch at least an hour ago, and everything's been clean outside the gate. So we just chipping away up here, man. I mean, once he puts these peanuts completely in the ground all the way across this field, then that's where, you know, we may have to go to thermal operations. Sorry, my high-tech camera mount. We may have to go to thermal operations just to, you know, buy these peanuts sometime so they can grow up and become a plant. So it seems to be a pretty day. It's about 78 degrees, and just a beautiful day. Very common in South Georgia. These irrigation pivots that run, a lot of times they'll run, and that end gun, they call it the end gun, it shoots like that, and it crosses roads. So it crosses that gravel road right there, and kind of turns it into a mud bog. So that's why it's so rough. So a lot of times you got to be paying attention, because it'll shoot right in your window. So all I can say is hang on. We're going to try to get down there before it gets daylight, and see what we can do. So here we go. All right, so it's about almost 6 o'clock. One of the advantages of spending a little extra money on thermal, you got to think about how far you want to see with a thermal, and don't spend a bunch of stupid money. We knew many years ago that we would want a thermal, our first one that we bought. that we would be able to see a long way across some of these really big fields. That way you can look like way, way far away and go, yeah, that's a hog, that's a deer. So my thermal that I have on my rifle is a really old thermal. It's held together with Gorilla Tape, but it can see a long way. The boys don't have that much power, so they can't see that far. But how far am I going to shoot? I'm never going to shoot over 100 yards. I'm just not. Not out here. But I can see a long way. So actually at the very top of this field, you can see the trees like right up there. I'm looking at right where the woods drop off to go in, and I'm scanning. I can see deer down there, but no hogs. So something to think about when you go to buy a thermal, is do you want to spend that extra money, so you can see a long ways? Will you ever want to see that long? Do you want a bunch of bells and whistles that you'll never use? For me, when I bought a thermal, it was like, hey, I just want to be able to see something, because I've been using the night vision and it kind of didn't really do the trick. I just wanted to see something glow. There you go. But I wanted to see a long ways. So we got to get down there and then get in the woods and do some more thermal. So we're down here at the trap. Right as we came out of the field, kind of go through a ditch. You come up into these woods. I actually heard a hog. So I threw the thermal up on the sticks. I saw 2 hogs in these woods here. Shot one. And we're probably 150 yards from the trap. So I don't know if they were headed out to the field or what they were up to. And then, of course, the element of surprise was gone. So our hog that's in the trap's banging his head on the panels. They kind of ran that way. Property line's not too far that way. We're gonna go ahead and take this hog out in the trap. And then as we get a little bit more daylight, we'll start looking for blood trail. I know I hit it. I could hear it. I could hear the contact and I could hear it squeal. But yeah, so I mean, this is why we go in like we do. But hang on. Trying to work our way over to the gate side. Coming right up here on the ice camera. We always approach from the gate side. Major electronics right there. Also just keeps them banging on the gate so hard. Get my flashlight out. Hi, fella. There was nothing outside the gate, but we came from, back that direction. So we're running a live video, directional antenna, 3-leg on-time feeder. And so it was back about 150 yards that way is where, I actually heard a hog. So I stopped sneaking, threw the rifle up on the sticks. But yeah, so hard to say. There's a great, huge cornfield back that direction that's not part of our project. It's adjoining landowners. So don't know if they came out of that corn. Who knows? But yeah, so at least we made contact with one of them. But definitely headed out that way. All that direction is peanuts. So we're going to go ahead and put him down and get on with the program. And then we'll get a little bit more daylight, go up, get the four-wheeler, come back, and try to see if we can't locate that other one. Hang on. All right, he went down pretty quick and easy, even though he was kind of amped up a little bit. A little frustrated. You know, we watched him for probably 45 minutes, or whatever time that was, early this morning, in here by himself, nothing outside the system, whatever, you know. Don't know where these other ones came from. Nothing's been outside the gate in the 50-mile drive up here, and then you bump this, you know, and the frustration is that, you know, and the videos previous to this, you know, once those peanuts go on the ground, man, I don't care what we put in here. They don't care. Odds are those hogs may have already been in this trap when we were trying to trap those two groups. They just never could work it out because it's hard to trap two groups at the same time because generally there's a fight breaks out. The reason there's two groups because they don't get along. So just give you a little footage of him. We're gonna buzz up, get the four-wheeler, and then head over here into these woods. Like I said, we've got a property line not far, so we're kind of dead in the water there. So we'll take it as far as we can. We don't confirm the kill unless we can see the animal, and that's just the way it is. So if we have a heavy blood trail, we don't care, we don't count it. But no matter what, it's kind of a little hard to walk away from a 308. That's why we run 308s on all of our thermal rigs. So there you go, man. I don't know. It's just a hard time of the year. I mean, when you got peanuts going in the ground or you got corn going in the ground, and we're trying to do everything we can so these farmers can sleep at night and not stress about, hey, you know, how many acres am I losing? The whole reason this man hired us is because he got tired of fighting hogs, and we've been here for 2 years. So far, we've done a really good job. But again, you know, you got to be realistic out there in TV land. You cannot control a wild animal. You just can't. I mean, I guess some people think you can, but I wish that we could. And so fortunately, the people that we currently work for, they all get it. They're like, hey man, we know y'all are doing everything you can. I was on the phone last night, late with a farmer who was out in one of our fields because we've got a breach. We've got hogs coming in. He engaged them. We've got multiple traps set up. You know, just trying to get them peanuts to come up. And for you that don't understand this, I mean, it is a huge problem, you know, in these agricultural communities with these hogs. I mean, it's big money. And, you know, you just got a small group of people trying to do what they can do. So let's take a look at him, and I'll shut up and see how we did. So young, stout little boar. It's really interesting on most properties. We've been here, like I said, 2 years. Every hog that we trap here has about that same pattern. Just the genetics, you know, the hogs that live in this area, you know, whatever, one boar, one sow. So anyway, just always kind of interesting. But so anyway, there's the system. 12-panel Jagger Pro. It is the newer gate. We did mount our control box to the gate. We kind of like it that way. And ice camera out there. And you can see it's kind of a oval, not a round design. And there you go. So we got a little bit of work to do and probably a little bit more footage. So hang on. So we're right over here where we made contact with the hogs. Trap is right back that way, about 150 yards, give or take. Right across here is the property line. Not the way the hogs ran, but it's a massive cornfield. Kind of the neat part about the south is we have an abundance of ants. So I was slipping along through here, just kind of, you know, trying to retrace my steps where I shot at. Saw some ants, and I was like, you know, they're going after the blood. We have fire ants, and they're not friendly. They're not nice. Fire ants clearly don't want to be your friends. Also, I kind of wanted to buzz the camera around and show you all these peanuts. So when they pick peanuts, you know, depending on how hard the ground is, you know, the pickers do really good. Sometimes they don't, and then you get an abundance of peanuts left over. So what happens is the water washes them, and so this is literally a little peanut haven here of just leftover peanuts from last year. Probably what they were doing in here was just scrounging around, eating peanuts that are in the shell, not the seed. So let me buzz you around here real quick. Yeah. saw a bunch of ants gravitating towards that. So that's a little bit of blood there. Not a bunch, but I think that's where the first shot was hit. And then I'm going to keep tracking from here. But if you look over here, you'll see all these peanuts. I mean, just tons and tons of peanuts. So that's why I say, you know, in the South, there's a lot of food source. And you got a chunk of, not to gross nobody out in TV land, but chunk of flesh right there. So clearly we made contact, which I knew we did. I heard the squeal, but I'm gonna head that direction. Now that goes to a different property line, and we'll kind of head that direction and see what we can come up with. So that there's actually a big old chunk of bone. It's just amazing how tough hogs are. Not only their hide, but just everything about them. It's a big old chunk of bone. So I thought y'all might find this just a little bit interesting. So between a lot of these big irrigated fields, we'll run a ditch for the water that runs off during, you know, when they're irrigating it. These ditches are pretty deep. Kind of looks like a DMZ, man. But it's full of peanuts. And so right now it doesn't have a lot of water in it because that pivot on the neighbor's property probably didn't run last night, or else it had more water in it. The water does go back down into the earth, but it's just like a big bed of peanuts. So I'm gonna give you a buzz at it. Still tracking the hog, but I think we're gonna run out of property line, meaning it's going on to somebody else's property. There's all your peanuts. Look at them down there in our ditch. And then we've got our corn over there. Waiting for this bank to cave in, and that'd probably be uncomfortable for a little bit. But look at that. It's dug out with an excavator. And it just goes all the way down through here. But you can see where these hogs are in hog heaven. You know, between last year's peanuts, they got water. Right now over there, they've got cover, which is the corn. And then once that corn starts making some ears, they're back in business. That's all they need. So you can see here, you know, where either deer, I doubt seriously a hog is jumping across that. But if a hog went down in there, they'd have a hell of a time getting out. So we're gonna get back to tracking. So we're up here, the truck is basically that way, and the trap is way down that way. Saw it when I walked back up to get the four-wheeler, bring the four-wheeler all the way down. I'm gonna do a video of it here. So yeah, hogs have come in here, come down these rows. This was planted yesterday or the day before, and literally just pulled it up. Now the problem is they could be right over here in the neighbor's corn, laid up, sleeping, irrigation, so they got water, they got cover. Here's the food. Most likely it wasn't the hogs that ended up down there. It'd be hard for them to walk away from this. So I'm gonna spin the camera around so you can kind of see what we're talking about. This is not a significant amount of damage, but it could be, depending on how many hogs it is. It could just be one hog that did this, but it wouldn't take long for a couple hogs to wipe all this out. And I remember 2 years ago when we first started working, this is the problem area for this customer, and that's why we put the trap down there. Now you in TV land might be like, well, why not put the trap here? It won't do any good, okay, because the food source is here. What we're trying to do is, you know, catch them when they're coming up through these, between these thickets of woods, between these irrigated fields. Now, they're not going to live in this corn when there's no, you know, if it's just a clear field, they're not going to live out there. They got to hide somewhere. We can't stop that, what happens over there, but we've had great success with the trap down there. If we put the trap right here, right now, they're not going to go in there. They want the peanuts. So it's better off when they go down there for cover, we catch them there. And again, all we got to do is let this peanut become a plant, and then we can go back to business as normal. So let me buzz you around. So for some of you, it may be kind of hard to see, but that is your classic going right down the row. So There's your row right there, okay? And just pulling the peanut up, all the way up. There you go, you can kind of see it now. So if we step over here, you can see they kind of started right there. And then they quit, and then you just keep coming over. So as they get braver, they'll come further and further out, and you can zoom in way down here, and now you can kind of see it. And that's your classic hog going down the peanut row. A guy told me the other day that peanut seed is $1 a pound. So I don't know what the math is, but there you go. So most likely they're laid up in that corn and they just slipped out here, went back in. Quick and fast and easy, you know, because they know they got to have that cover. They're smart, fourth smartest creature in the world. So way down there is where more peanuts will be planted. Corn's being irrigated this morning, and it's kind of really hard to see, but way down there is where Saturday we installed a chief trap. So we're trying to protect that far end, and then way over here is where we have a 12-panel Jaeger Pro down off in that hole. So absolutely beautiful morning in South Georgia. Nice breeze, starting to get kind of dragging. But if you see frustration in my face, besides where I cut myself shaving, the hard part for us as trappers is that there's still stuff out there being used that's old technology. You know, kind of reminds you of like a box with a stick on it and the rabbit's going to go underneath it and you're going to pull the string. I mean, really, that's what we're looking at. We don't want to educate hogs in the process of trapping because we're seeing how hard it is on this side. We understand that your average landowner is not going to understand that they are the fourth smartest creature in the world. We get that. What's sad to us is that the so-called experts, some of the experts, are promoting, endorsing trap systems that are using ancient technology that literally educates hogs. You know, you watch and wait, you have a camera, you look down, you make sure that, you know, that's your group, you know, and respond quickly. The last thing you want, and I think we did okay tonight, or this morning, I think we did okay. I don't think those 2 hogs that I engaged at the ditch, I don't think they got over to the trap. But if they go up and they see that gate down, and they see one of their buddies in there, game over. If you're not running cameras, you don't know these things. And that's why we talk about an immediate, quick as you can response time. It's a 50-mile drive. So I got here as quick as I could. But it's very frustrating that our experts, not all of them, are supporting and endorsing technology that's gone. It's crap that we were using 25 years ago. And it's still out here being used, and landowners don't know the difference. They're like, hey, man, that's great. I can get this system, blah, blah, blah. And they don't realize that you're just making hogs smarter and smarter and smarter. And then you got guys like this guy he's getting blistered right now. And I mean, it's no fault. We ain't done nothing wrong. We've trapped a pile of hogs off this place. It'd be worse. This is something this landowner can digest, but not this whole field. He can't digest that, and crop insurance ain't going to help a whole lot with that. So that being said, let's leave it on a good note. Y'all have a great day. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And we got one more field to check on the way to the house, and we're going to hit the sack, Jack. Y'all have a great day.